Hey everyone, I'm Rachel, and today on Crack Your Bible, we are talking about Genesis 6, and I'm still sick and my face is all gross, so we're just doing an audio portion today. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about is listening to God and doing what He says when He tells you to do it. Now, God told Noah what He was going to do, that He was going to destroy the entire earth because man had corrupted himself by mating with the Nephilim. So he tells us what he's going to do, why he's going to do it. He tells Noah when he's going to do it in 120 years. So at the time, Noah was 480 years old. And then he tells Noah what to do about it. He says, go and build an ark. Now, we don't really know what Noah did as a profession before the flood. We don't have any of that background knowledge, but we do know that there was technology back then, there were cities. So God told Noah what to do. And in 120 years, I'm pretty sure that anybody, if they put 120 years into any sort of job, they're going to become more than an expert at it. And you see that Noah didn't say, well, is there an easier way? Or, oh, that's probably too time consuming, or that sounds really expensive. No, we see that Noah did what God told him to do. He went to work on building an ark. Now, it wasn't just like, let's slap up any ark. God told Noah exactly what to build. He gave him the dimensions, where to put the doors, where to put openings, how many floors to put in it, what the stalls were going to be like, what to put on the inside to make it waterproof. And you see that everywhere in the Bible. God tells people what to do, why He's going to do it, how He's going to do it. But so many times people disregard what God says. Over and over and over, God tells you, I'm going to do this. I want this done. I want you to go this place. I want you to do that. And this is the reason why. And people either procrastinate or they ignore God altogether. And then they're like, why is God letting this bad thing happen to me? Or why am I having to go through this? And usually it's one of two reasons. You're either procrastinating or you are outright ignoring what God tells you to do. Now, again, nobody just becomes a master shipbuilder. So obviously, Noah put some time and effort into studying, into training, into sourcing materials. Maybe he lived on the land where he got the lumber. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he had to purchase it. We don't know. But you can see that he devoted the next 120 years to building this ark. Are you willing to devote your life to the things that God tells you to do when He tells you to do them? Or do you kind of half-heartedly do them? Oh, if God tells me to do it, I'll get around to it. Or I'll do this, but I'm not really going to try to figure out how to make it happen or become an expert in the field that God is telling me to go into. That's not what Noah did, but is that what you're doing in your life? So don't be like so many people today. Be like Noah. When God tells you to do something, go out and do it. One of the things that we are going to get into in Genesis 7 is that God tells Noah to put animals on the ark. And in Genesis 6, it says you're going to put 2 of every kind of animal, a mating pair. But then in Genesis 7, it gets more specific that not only are you going to have a mating pair of every animal, but for the animals that are clean, you're going to have 7 pairs. One of the biggest things that you're going to run into when you talk about Noah's Ark is that people are going to ask you, how did all the animals fit on the ark? And I think the problem is people don't understand how to, in their mind, picture animals in relationship to their spaces and have a proportion that is realistic. Because take, for instance, the United States. People always talk about, oh, the world's so overpopulated, the world's so overpopulated. Well, if you're in the United States, I'm sure you're familiar with how our towns are laid out, how much open space there is. between everything. Unless you live in New York City or Chicago, you have to have a vehicle to get around because everything is just so spread out. And back in 2013, in the United States, there was over 300 million people in the United States. And at that exact same time, the Los Angeles Times reported that every man, woman, and child in the United States could have 7 square feet in covered self-storage. That's how much self-storage was in the United States. So you know those like garages where you store your junk for a fee per month? There's so much self-storage in the United States that every man, woman, and child would have more than 7 square feet to themselves. So that just shows, like, we're not wall-to-wall storage units in the United States, and yet we could fit people comfortably in storage units that are covered. So when you think about it, it's like, oh, wow, I guess the world's really not that overpopulated. It's just mismanaged, or you kind of don't understand the enormity of space that we actually have at our disposal. So it's kind of the same thing with the ark. People think, oh, wow, all these giant animals, and then you have an ark, but you don't realize that the average size land animal is smaller than a sheep, and a sheep is about the size of a golden retriever. So the fact that most land animals are smaller than a sheep or a golden retriever, you can fit quite a lot of animals on a giant ship. Think about like a Carnival Cruise Line ship. Those things are gigantic. Now think about the size of your pets. I remember back in 2007, I had a Chihuahua, and I got him when he was a baby. He was the size of my cell phone. I mean, like, you could fit quite a lot of these little animals if you get them young on a ship. So that's something that we're going to go more in depth with next week. But I just want you to think about that when you get these questions like, oh, you know, how could all of this happen? Or is this even possible? Well, when you crunch the numbers, it actually is possible. It's just the way our minds process things. We think in terms of like, oh, wow, we're so at a lack. We always think of things from a perspective of, oh, we don't have enough, when actually we have more than enough provided for us. We just don't see that. Before I end the show, I just want to let you guys know that on social media, I've decided I want to provide more content outside of just the videos. I can't do a video every day. I'm just one person, but I want to let you guys know that if you follow me on any of my social media accounts, which I'm going to put on the screen right now, that I have started a new thing. So on Mondays, we have the verse of the week, which is going to be a verse that sets the tone for the theme of the week on what we're talking about. Then we're going to have Tuesday Truths, which is a statistic relating to Christian apologetics today. And then Thursdays are going to be a word to the wise, which is going to be a verse from the book of Proverbs, which is going to give you a competitive edge in life. And then on Fridays is Flirty Fridays, which is a little embarrassing, but Song of Songs, or Song of Solomon, as you might have heard it called, is kind of a strange book. I'm not really sure how I want to present it. So right now I'm just deciding to pull out little clips and putting them on social media on Fridays. It's a very sexual book. It's basically love letters between a man and a woman. So I figured, you know what? Let's just pull some of those quotes, put them up on Fridays. Maybe you can try them on your spouse, because everybody needs to hear that they are loved and that their spouse finds them attractive. So as cheesy or as corny as it might sound, I wanted to share those with you, so definitely check those out on social media. But I will see you guys on Friday. I would like you to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.